My name is Aviel. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Fairfly, an Israeli travel startup, 3 years old, that saves corporates tons of money on airfare before and after booking. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Yasmin and Icon, which is an amazing program that we, Fairfly, got the chance to participate in. And Yasmin, she's the executive director of Icon for the past more than 2 years in Silicon Valley, and a great friend. And now we're going to hear about what Icon is. So if you are Israeli entrepreneur, corporate executive, or investor, this panel is for you. And food in 25 minutes. Okay, so Yasmin. What is Icon?
Good question. Icon, we are a nonprofit based in Silicon Valley. What is called in the US a 501c3. Here it's called Seif 46. We were founded 2 years ago. Icon stands for Israel Collaboration Network. And our mission is to create a community in Silicon Valley of people who are passionate about Israeli tech and innovation and harness the strength of this community to help Israeli startups in the US.
So let's take it to the next level. And if you have questions from the crowd, feel free to raise your hand in a few minutes. So community, how this community helps us, the Israeli startups?
I mean, what is a community? You know, you think we're trying to make this home or something fuzzy or something nice, but what does it really translate into? What do we actually do? And what we actually do, we try to create opportunities for Israeli founders in the US to interact with corporate executives and investors that are interested in Israeli tech and innovation. We target three groups in the US. We target Israeli founders that could be based here or in the US. And we had actually an interesting discussion. You know, you always hear about who's Jewish in political context, but we had a very interesting discussion on who is Israeli, because we offer great things and more people wanted to be Israeli. So that was an interesting discussion. But we look for Israeli founders, full-time founders of tech companies. I got one application from a company that was doing a Belgian waffle and wanted to expand to the US. We don't do that, although we wanted some samples.
If there are any founders here that have startup in the waffles industry, this panel is not for you.
The second group we're targeting is partners in VCs in the US. And the third group is corporate executives in the US, and we try to go for the director and above. And usually the American are those that kind of, you know, they self-select. They're interested either because they're Jewish or because they're Israeli or because they had a good experience with Israeli tech and innovation. And I'm always surprised to see more and more people that are neither of those and are interested in joining us and seeing what we do, because we do cool things. I actually even asked once one guy, an Indian guy, that was very involved in what we do and a volunteer and try to help. And he was a director in Palantir, which is a big company. And I said, you know, we became friendly. And I said, tell me, what's the secret? What am I missing? Is your wife Israeli maybe? Why are you so passionate about this? And he said, you know, honestly, this is an opaque community to me. And you're all very helpful to one another. And Israeli startups are doing amazing things, and I want to be part of it. So we're trying to bank on those things and bring those three groups together and create those opportunities. So what are those opportunities? We do some things online and offline. Started mostly offline. We do a conference once a year, kind of similar to this one, in Silicon Valley for those three groups. We do smaller events throughout the year. We have a shared workspace in Palo Alto that all of you Israeli founders, when you come to the US and you need an office, you're welcome to come and work from our space. You can book meeting rooms by yourselves online. And we try to also make the space, you know, like a hub for the community. So we'll ask people, could be like experienced founders or investors or anyone, to come and give office hours over there. So we'll have someone, even like Rom, who's running this conference, running Innovel, come and spend 2 hours in the office. And if Rom would come, I'm guessing that entrepreneurs that do something like what you do, that are in in travel will sign up in advance, and each will get to spend 15, 20 minutes with him, kind of talk about their own company and get advice. And people like that very much. And I also hear from the Israelis that I asked to come and do those office hours that they treated like reserve duty. And you do a lot of that, so I'm sure you know that the office hours are probably more fun.
Yeah, there's air conditioning in the office hours.
And we give food.
And free food.
It is a Jewish organization after all.
So, sounds great, but how much do we need to pay to get this, to be part of this community?
So nothing that we do actually costs money to anyone other than the SV101 program.
We're Jewish.
Yeah, well, other than the SV101 program, which you participated in, which we didn't talk about yet, but we are funded by grants, sponsorships, donations, and we don't charge the entrepreneurs. And the idea, actually, there's more just the money behind it. The idea behind it is we don't want people to be able to pay to get in. We want to choose the right people to be part of what we do, and to really give them a great experience. Also some reciprocity in it, it's a paid forward idea. Come and I'm going to give you a great experience, and then you're more likely to want to help startups later. The SV101 program, which we didn't talk about yet, is usually we'll take anyone who's Israeli and a founder. The only time we're selective with what we do is the SV101 program. That's a 2-week immersion program in Silicon Valley. The idea behind it is, if you're based in Israel and you're thinking about getting an investor from the Valley, working with the US, getting customers from there, and you want to understand what's going on there, you can come for 2 weeks if you apply to the program and you get in. And we give you a lot of content in 2 weeks. So we don't invest in you. We don't ask for equity. We ask for a very small participation fee to cover costs. And you get, you meet with a lot of investors. You get a mentor from the Valley that helps you. And you meet with whatever, everything I said about all those one-on-one meetings in the office hour. We try to condense everything for 2 weeks. So you have a pretty hectic schedule. I think with your group, we went to see Ben Horowitz from Horowitz.
That was the first meeting.
That was the first meeting.
Setting the expectations very...
Yes. We're going to see Peter Thiel in this group. We have a batch starting on Monday.
Can people that participate in the first batch can also...
Sure, come back. This is home now,
When do you think is the right time for Israeli entrepreneurs that here right now and hear about the opportunities in Icon and also SV101? When is the right time to visit the Valley? Should we move there? What should we expect when we're there?
So becoming an Icon member for an Israeli founder is a very easy and painless process. You just have to fill a form online and get someone to recommend you, kind of vouch for you that you're actually a tech startup. So that is easy. It doesn't cost anything. It puts you on the mailing list and you know what's going on and what are the opportunities that we offer. So I would say the minute you have a startup and you're working on it full-time, one of the things you should do is apply for an Icon membership. SV101 is targeted for companies that already have a product and have something. We ask for a minimum funding of $200,000. I think in your group we had, probably around 2, 3, 4 million that most of the companies have raised, with one exception that was much higher and one exception that was less than that. And I really think that's the sweet spot for that program. When you already have something, you might have customers, you might not, but you're really in the beginning, and every feedback that you get might change the course of where your company goes. I mean, look at you, for example. Aviel came to SV101 with a consumer company, and based on all the feedback that he got and everything that he learned from the peers in his group and from all of the meetings that he got, he came back with a decision to pivot and change, and which is working really well for you now. So that for me is a great success. Coming and and understanding that you need to make a change based on all the feedback that you got. For me, that's a big success. And you asked about what's the right time to move to the Valley or to be more involved, and I think that actually really depends. Depends on what you do and what you want to do. If you want, but if you want to do something in the Valley, you should come. You should come as often as you can, because people want to do business with people, and there's no really alternative to meeting someone face to face and understanding who they are. Can I trust you? Do I like you? Do I really want you on my board? So personal relationships are important, and if you start those relationships before you want to ask something, before you ask for something, you're better. But if, for example, you're targeting consumers in Asia and you don't want to raise, you're bootstrapping and you don't want to raise, I don't know if you need to come to Silicon Valley. So it really depends. I see a lot of VCs in Silicon Valley in the US want you to be in Silicon Valley, want you to be close to them. There's a joke about one famous partner who would not invest in a company where he could not drive with his Tesla to the board meeting. So not happening.
How much is it? 220 miles?
Now with the non-stop flight, that's incredible. I think that's going to change. But now they even say, if I can take my bike to the board meeting, I don't know if I want to invest. But, laugh aside, I can see the value in that, because as an investor, you don't just want the money. You want the advice and you want their connections. And if they're going to call you and say, hey, CEO of my portfolio companies is coming next Monday, you have to meet him. I think you can work great together. And you're like, you know what, I'm going to be in the Valley again in November 15th. So you're not really getting the best out of what this investor wants, can give you. And it's not ideal. So I think my answer to should you move to the Valley is it depends. It depends. If you want customers and if you want to make deals in the Valley, you said to me earlier outside, when you sign big deals, you have to have at least a face-to-face.
At least one, yeah.
If not more.
So we talked about Icon as a network and as a community, and now we will focus a little bit about SV101 that we got the chance to participate in. Like Yasmin explained, we got the chance to pivot according to the feedback that we received during the program. It's only 2 weeks, but when you get the chance to meet for 2 weeks, people that on a day-to-day basis, and we have amazing investors, and famous names that are very known people that are helping us. Even then, when you want to meet people in Silicon Valley, it's first easier to be there, of course, but the network, the Icon network, and specifically the SV program, the fact that your first meeting in a program of 2 weeks is Ben Horowitz, which is something unbelievable. Okay, we were 12 people with Ben Horowitz, but it's something that even today, if you want to get this meeting, it's something very,
but
very
at the
difficult.
end of the meeting, he said, I asked him, what if somebody wants to, approach one of your partners? And he said, just give them my email, have them email me, and I'll send it to the right partner, which I think, it's not a cold call anymore. Usually if we have more time to talk about Icon, we have a YouTube channel that you can, I'm sure, find, and we have a few videos on it that are very, that give a lot of more information, like a 3-minute video on what is Icon, and another 3-minute video on what is SV101, which has a lot of information in it and some pictures from the first batch.
So we have the Icon community and we have SV program that we can participate as entrepreneurs, but if we have in the crowd right now, and we sure have some huge amount of corporate executives and investors, how they can help Icon or how they can contact companies through Icon?
Well, one, it is a paid forward community. So we said the founders are just a third of the community. We also have the corporate executives and we have the investors from the US, and we're trying to put everyone together. So the application is not just for founders. Maybe I said founders because I'm assuming we're in Israel, so I'm going to find here the Israeli founders, but anyone who's a partner in a venture fund or corporate executive director and above is welcome to also submit an application online, become an Icon member, start joining our activities. If you're interested by Israeli tech and innovation, which I'm sure you are because you're here today, join us. It is free and fun.
So first I recommend again to sign for Icon. And if you get the chance, if your target market, future target market is the US, or you're planning to raise money in the US, I think that the program for 2 weeks is something that you must have. We started, when we started the US, working in the US market, my partner Gili and I were there for 3 months, and the ROI of getting there in 3 months, even though that we have pretty good connections there, and if you compare it to the 2 weeks of Icon, it's something that you can't even compare.
Let me give you another example. You know, we spoke about you as a success story, because this is, to me, success kind of coming back with
we have a long way before we can define ourselves as
it is like planting a flower, and you have to look at it and see it grow. You have to be patient. People ask me about what is success. So this is success. I walk on University Avenue and I see 2 people I didn't know each other, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you know each other. And it says, oh, we met at Icon. So for me, that's a success, because things start to happen, and then there's a ripple effect. And I saw Evan earlier in the crowd, who's an investor and based half-time in New York, half-time here. And Evan came to visit an Icon and said, let's have coffee. So we're sitting in the office and chatting and having, and he asking me about Icon, and I'm talking, I'm telling him about what we do. And he says, who are all those startups sitting outside? And I says, it's interesting. We have this company, they're doing digital health, Hello Heart, and this one is doing this. And these guys here, Secfold, they're doing a cyber. They just got into Y Combinator. And he said, oh, what did they do? And one thing led to the other, and they started kind of this serendipitous conversation, and they ended up investing, and they're doing really well. So those are, that's a success story that I know about, and I'm sure there's so many more that I'm not aware of, because one thing led to another, to another, to another. So I do need to find a way to track all of them.
I think that for us, Icon was a huge milestone. The fact that you have for 2 weeks feedback from different people, different investors, different corporate executives. Also, the program match a mentor from the industry, the same industry that you come from. And the mentors continue with you even after the program. So today you have a serial entrepreneur from Silicon Valley in the travel industry that I can bounce ideas with him every time that I'm there, or by the phone. And I think that it's something very significant for an Israeli company, or for every company.
I mean, another side effect of your program that we didn't plan on is that because no 2 companies were competing with one another, you became really close friends with one another, and you gave feedback to one another. And this group that kind of graduated, you could say, in March, they keep on talking on WhatsApp daily. I'm still on the group, and I see those messages. Oh, anybody can recommend a QA person, and how much do you pay an accountant, and let's get together for beer, and happy birthday, or this one had a baby. And actually even Aviel organized for them a quarterly meetup in which they talk about a problem that they have, and they all try to solve it together, which was something we didn't plan on. And it felt like a sim city. Like I built the city, and we put the food, and they came, and then they built something amazing out of this, which
food. It's easy. Once there's food, we're there.
Which for me, this and the fact that people that don't need us give us money as a donation, really big Israeli CEOs from the Valley, like Noam from Waze, he doesn't need us, but they not just coming and helping and doing his reserve duty and teaching, but also gives us money to fund what we're doing. Those are the things that are really exciting to me.
Thank you. Question? We have maybe 30